let them get a view from there. And
Flight 527 ready for departure.
Good morning. Welcome back. Game time. 2024. Happy New Year. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. To the moon. Thought I got hacked. Hey, hope you guys had a good New Year. Hope you guys enjoyed your night, enjoyed your day. Waking up this morning with a little bit of action. So should be good. That's all we want. We just want a little bit of action. Road to $1 million. Yeah, maybe one day, Michael. Maybe one day. All right. Happy New Year, guys. Welcome back to the moon if the moon is below us. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit of pressure to the downside this morning. 4,500 in the pre-market. Laid back. Nice, man. Nice. Very nice. Boom. I mean, you should be done for the day. Microsoft AMD, what the F happened? Market's moving lower. That's what happened. Some important breaks of some key demands and also some important rejections that we will review here in just a second on the futures. Some very important retest rejections that we saw on Friday, leading to some more downside here today. Morning. Welcome back once again. Hope you guys are having a good morning, having a good start to the year. This year, let's make it a good one, man. Let's got a lot of plans, got a lot of things that I wanted to get done. Hopefully you guys have a list of some goals. Every year, a little bit better, right? Every year, improving yourself. All right. What is it? 8:03. So we'll wait a few more minutes. Let some people to step in. Am I still in Tesla calls? No. I took my loss on those on Friday. I am fully cash. I did not want to be holding any positions into the new year. I'm very happy to accept that loss, the last loss of 2023, move on, make the money back. Gone to new positions, new gains. Yeah, just wanted to close it out. So took that loss. Not to pull up, not to pull up the account. If we're still taking positions that could potentially blow up our account, we got a long way to go. All right, let's make a New Year's resolution to 2024. We are not taking position sizes that will blow up our account. Okay, let's not do that. All right, 8:04, 8:05. Let's get started. Once again, guys, welcome back. Let's do it. Let's start the new year right. You know how we start it. We'll start it with the economic calendar. It's always a great way, always the first thing to look at. So yesterday, let's get the shirt. Yeah, shirts are going, Marvin. Marvin, we got hoodies and sweatpants on the docket for you next, Marvin. But yeah, we're starting that next week, most likely next week, because I got to get out of this apartment first. All right, so Monday, January 1st. That's yesterday. Markets closed, nothing. Today, 9:45. Manufacturing PMI, 10 o'clock, construction spending. So we'll see if there's a little bit there. Probably not that much action off that. Probably not that much action off the manufacturing PMI and construction spending, but you guys just keep an eye out for it. That's all we can do. 9:45, 10 o'clock. Keep an eye out on that. Tomorrow, Wednesday, you got FOMC minutes. You'll see a little bit of volatility. You'll see a little this and that. You're not going to, we'll see if there's anything major. But definitely some volatility to watch out for tomorrow. 2 o'clock, FOMC minutes. And then at 10 o'clock, you got the manufacturing PMI, ISM manufacturing PMI. You got JOLTS, job openings, and then you have the ISM manufacturing prices. So JOLTS usually, obviously a little bit of volatility there as well. So that's 10 o'clock tomorrow. FOMC member Barkin speaks. That's pre-market. So pre-market tomorrow, 10 o'clock JOLTS, 2 o'clock FOMC. Pretty active day there on the economic side. Thursday, non-farm, unemployment as usual. Friday, average hourly, non-farm employment change, unemployment rate. And that's that. So a pretty decent economic week, a little bit more active than last week. So we'll have to keep an eye out on some of this, of course. But today, just obviously, guys, this is how you approach economic data. You just be aware of it when it comes out. Understand that it's coming out. Understand it could affect your portfolio. It could affect your positions. That's all you can do. You're not going to try to guess what's going to happen here. You're just using this as a guide to make sure you understand that there could be volatility in the market and that you could get a movement on your position. That's all that matters. So if you're in a huge position today at 9:45, maybe you say, okay, let me be a little bit careful here. Maybe I scale down a little bit before this data is released. That's all. All right. So that's that. Earnings. Is there anything on earnings? Do we have any earnings starting up? I don't think so. No. All right. Nothing on the earnings side. All right. Let me get this adjusted here because this is wrong and it's been messing up lately. So let me get that. I got to save this. adjust that. All right, there we go. Boom, boom, and we're ready to go. All right. Nasdaq. So, what is the Nasdaq doing? What happened? What's going on? Why are we going lower? Let's review. Let me get first. Hold on. I got to get my tool going, my Demo Pro, so that we can draw all over this thing. Demo Pro. All right, we're good to go. All right, 30-minute chart. Let's get 30 days, and let's show you the key that happened on Friday. The key move that occurred here on Friday is right here. This is important, very important, right? Very key in terms of structure on this market, right? What happened? What have we talked about as we moved higher, right? We've talked about when there is a shift in structure, when we start to see some lows turning into new highs, when we see lows like this turning into new highs like that, right? There could be a flip on the market, a short-term structural flip on the market, and that is what you're seeing, right? You just witnessed that Friday into this morning, right? You have witnessed a little bit of a structural flip here, right? Because this was a previous high right here, right? Previous high, previous high, previous high, which then turned into a demand pretty much for most of last week, right? Now, that level, right, has now turned back into a rejection point. So that is very key, right? That is very important. You need to understand what just happened there. We had those previous highs turned back into a high right there. So you had a little bit, maybe some people would call that maybe a little head and shoulder formation, right? Maybe a little head and shoulder, I don't know, something along these lines, right? Little head and shoulder formation at the highs. And you are now under that pretty key previous rejection point right there, right? That's important. So at any point, if we come back into that level, you got to watch for those rejections to step in again, all right? So 17,050, that's right there. That's big. Keep an eye on that. That's going to be a very influential level moving forward now that we have fell below that level, okay? Yeah, I'll get the numbers zoomed in for you. I got to make sure I save this moving forward. Let me go to medium. Let's see. Maybe that should be a little bit better for you. And let me go ahead and adjust this again. There we go. All right. Boom. All right. So 17,050. Big, right? Big time right there. All right. Now, what else happened here? Next, we had previous hold levels here, right? We had previous demand right in that 16,960, right in that area previously, which also held Friday on the drop, right? We had the drop on Friday, which broke down, right? Look how clean. Look. Reverse 30 seconds before I couldn't talk. Look what happened here, right? We dropped into demand, we held, but we retested and rejected, right? You dropped into demand, you held, right? And you bounced and rejected that level, right? Very key. Now, you're under that level. So you are now watching this as your next supply, right? Supply. So if we bounce, potential rejections on bounces. That's 16,960. You could even bring it down to maybe 16,940. Next, what's the next level, right? That we're sort of moving under this morning. Let's zoom in. Next level. Key level that broke right here. See this? Previous high, previous demand. Right there, around 16,890, 16,9. We have flushed under that level as well. Right there. So, that is another supply level that we're watching if we get any bounces. So here, that is how you just created your 3 supply levels to the upside to be paying attention to. So if we bounce today, right, we're watching 16.9. We're watching 16.960. And if we really get this bounce, which would be pretty hard pressed to believe, but if we get that bounce, right, 17,050, those are your new supply levels, right? Because those are all previous levels that held previously that we are now below. And if we bounce into them, those could now be rejection points. What's the demand that's stepping up right now? Which is, I don't know how much I trust it, but as of right now, right, where is the level that's holding on? It's right here, right? It's the 16,815 level. And that is the low here from Thursday of 2 weeks ago, right? And that is the lows right here from Friday and into Monday back on December 18th, December 17th, December 15th, December 18th, right? Right there. You can see right there, previous lows, a little bit of lows there, which helped the market higher. That is where we are trading at right now, right? That's where we're trading right now. So that's going to be the level to watch this morning. If we break and reject under that, where are you going? You're going here, right? Next level, right there, 16,760, right? That's your next level. 16,760 is your next demand below, right there. That is this double bottom low. That is the next level to watch. So if we move lower, right? If we move lower, you can see that could be your next demand to watch, okay? Let's zoom out. Get a bigger picture, right? Under that 16,760, under here, right? Under this demand here, there is literally nothing of support, right? Until that 16,660, right there. So between 760 and 660, you got about 100 points on the Nasdaq futures, which could be a pretty aggressive drop, right? Under 660 to under 760 to 660, you have a little bit of 20 SMA action here to watch out for around that 700. But overall, right, if you drop under this low, there's not much until this low right here. And that's about 100 points. This gap right here is about 100 points to be aware of. All right. So let's zoom in here on the short term real quick. 15-minute chart. Let's get a little bit more time. And let's look at what we need to sort of watch for in the short term, right? Short term, you are watching this low and these lows right now, right? That is what's happening right now as we speak. This 16,815 is this low right here, which is attempting to hold. If we turn this into a rejection today in the extreme short term, right, that will lead you to your next move towards these lows right here, okay? If you bounce, which I would prefer a bounce, right? If you guys want to short today, you want to bounce, right? This is the same thing as, trading the upside. If we woke up today and the market was up 200 points on the Nasdaq futures, you would want us to pull back, right? Just think about that logically. If we were up 200 points and you wanted to long today, you would want the market to pull back. Same thing applies here, in my opinion. I want the market to bounce into this 900. I want the market to bounce into this 960, right? And I want to re-short the market after some of these bounces. Very similar to what happened right here, right? See this? See what happened on Friday? We had a big drop, a bounce, and a rejection, right? I want that same look today. I want the big drop, the bounce, and the rejection. The bounce and the rejection. All right, so that's what I'm looking for today. That would really get me interested, right? If I get this bounce into this 890, 900, and I start to see this level right here turn into a rejection point again, that would be sexy short entries for me, all right? So 16,890, 16,9, that would be my ideal short entry today. If we can get that bounce, I love that for a potential retest rejection. And if we can get a little bit higher, I would also look for that 960 level right here. All right, so 960, 900 are my two really sexy potential short entries today. If we can get that bounce, right? If we can get that bounce, I would love that. So we'll see. We shall see. But that's the game plan for now. Look for those bounces. Look for those fades. I was talking to the group about this, and we were reviewing my information, my performance last year. My best months were downside months. My best months were retest rejections because I love a good retest bear flag rejection, man. Those just set up beautifully. So I would look forward today. I'm excited to see if I see any of that action today. We finally saw some of that. This was the first retest rejection that we saw in a long time on Friday, right here, right? Break, retest, rejection. That sets up beautifully, right? And so I'm looking for that same thing. I would love to spot that today. So that's my game plan on the Nasdaq. 816 demand. Would love a little bounce and retest short. That's my eyes. That's where my eyes are today. If we do not hold this demand below, then we're moving down to that 760. All right? Let's continue. QQQ, what level? Spam it in the chat. 4010. 4010. That's the level we've been screaming and hollering on the QQQ pretty much all last week. And look at that. Look at that. Clean, clean, clean. Break and retest rejection on the market. A very clear structural shift, right? Look how this turned from a rejection, right? A support, right? And then bam, right? 4010. Break, retest, rejection, 4010. Love that level. You can see how clean that was. Triple top rejection at previous demand. Previous demand turning into a triple top rejection. That is as clear as it's going to get. So let's watch that 410 moving forward. Obviously, we're pretty far away from it now, but if you see us trading near that level in the future, make sure you understand that that could be a really hot rejection level to watch out for. Now, let's go back. Let's go to the 30-minute chart. Let's get a little bit more time here, and let's review these moves. So 30-minute chart. Next level below was this, right? This was our previous hold level right here, right? That we broke below right there. So 408 is another retest rejection level, a new supply level. 408, 410. Next, right here, right? Look how clear look how clear these levels are. 406.50. You had previous rejections, support right here, right, at 406.50, and you are under that as well. Again, another retest rejection level to watch out for. 406.50, 408, 410, right? Those are my three levels to be watching. If we get bounces, is there retest rejections at all three of those levels? The level that's trying to hold on right now, attempting but not really doing that good of a job, is 405. Let me go ahead and show you that right here. You can see 405 is an important demand here. Let me go back to the 30-minute and get a little bit more time. I'm going to default that to 30-30 instead of 30-10. The level that's potentially trying to hold here, but not doing fantastic, right, is this 405 demand right there. You can see 405 was a hold here. It was some previous consolidation here, and you're chilling right at that 405 today. Carmine, KZDish. What's up, Carmine? Welcome to the stream, my friend. So 405. You guys can see right here, right? If we cannot hold that 405 today, I don't think you got much below here until this 403 demand, right? Under 405 today, I don't think there's much demand here until 403. So 405, 403 are my sort of next two demands to be watching out for. If we turn 405 into a rejection today, then we're moving to 403, right? Just sort of logic there. There's not much demand between this zone. So if we turn that 405 into rejections today, you're going to see more downside. But I would prefer, before we get that 405 break today, I would prefer, at least for me trading, I would prefer if the market bounced into supply, right? I would prefer the market bounce back into these rejections. I would prefer if the market bounced back into these lows, right, and turn them into rejections. That would be a beautiful short entry at that 406.50, right? That would make it a lot easier to take that short entry instead of chasing that straight red, right? Or even if we got above 406.50, I would even look for this, right? I would look for the market to bounce back into these lows, back into this low, and get that retest of supply and get that drop back to the downside. All right. Now, there is one thing. This is getting very in-depth, but, whatever. I'll go through it. But this is sort of how my mind works. Hopefully this helps you in your trading, right? If the market does get into 408, right? If the market does get into 408 on a bounce, you then need to, and I know this gets a little bit, I'm going to try my best to explain this, but it gets a little bit in depth. But if the market does get into 408 and you take a short off that 408 level, you then need to be careful of 406 turning back into demand, right? Think about that. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Right? Because if you get the market to break this 406.50 and push towards that 408, and you say, okay, hey, Desi said 408 potential short entry. I'm starting to see some rejections. Maybe I'll take a short here, right? Which is a great short entry, right? It's a great short entry. But then if you do take that short and you get some profits, you then need to be careful of this turning back into a demand like this, right? Something along these lines, right? So this is all just playing within the levels. This is something that you will get, hopefully 2024, you get a little bit better at. But this is all just playing within the levels, understanding that, hey, we're back over 406.50. Technically, that could now turn back into demand, right? And I need to now be careful that if we're above that level, this could then hold again, right? And I need to be careful on my short, okay? So just adjusting to intraday action, right? Sort of as you see the market trade between levels, adjusting to what you're seeing. This is very key for your success as a trader. All right, let's continue. ES. So the ES, I mean, what an absolutely sexual. And I love that word, man, because it is sexual. What an absolutely sexy retest rejection of 48.30, right? Look at this. I mean, it's just perfect. Break, retest, and bam, right? Look at how you broke the 48.30. You held some demands on Friday, 4,800 demand. You bounced, and you bounced right back into 48.30 supply. And look at how clean that rejected. 48.30, perfect rejection there on the ES. Now, you flushed under 48.08. You flushed under 4,800. Now, the key level that just flushed this morning, right after I was sort of doing my levels this morning, this is a very important break on the ES this morning, around this 48 or 47.85. This could quite possibly be the perfect short entry today, right here. You guys see right here? Rejections, support, right? Rejection here, support here, right? See how important that level was? That 47.85. If we bounce today into this 47.85, this could be a beautiful rejection right there. That could be very, very nice. 47.85. If we bounce, which I hope we do, I hope we get some retests. If we bounce into that 47.85 today, that could be a really nice watch for a short down into this 47.60 demand. Right? Why that level? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? Look at all those reactions at that level. If we bounce today into that level and start to see some weakness, that could be an awesome retest and rejection. If we get higher, we're watching 4,800, right, as our level. 4,800, 4,800, 4,800. That could be another retest rejection level. And above that, you got 48.08, right? 48, make that a little bit cleaner. 48.08, 4,800, 47.85, right? Those are my three retest rejection levels that I'm watching today. Okay, on the ES. The ES is in a weak, it's in a very interesting zone, right? You can see right here. This is sort of, this is a little bit questionable in here, right? There's probably not much support under 47.85 into 47.60, 47.50, right? Look at that zone. You really don't have much support here in this zone until this 47.60 demand right down here. So, all eyes on that 47.85, all eyes on that 4,800 today. Look for those bounces and rejections to see if this downside continues. SPY, 472. Okay, that's your immediate watch here. 472. You guys can see right here, we had that previous support, previous rejections at that 472, and you are right at it today. If you see 472 turn into a rejection point, you're moving into 470, right? That's your next demand down here. If you see 472 turn into rejection, you're moving to 470. You got your extreme lows here at 468.50, okay? 468.50, 470. That's all about 472 right now. If we bounce off 472, we go into the 473.50 right here. 473.50, 473.50, 473.50. Damn, it is getting active out there in Miami. I don't know if you guys can hear the sirens. So 473.50, 472, 470. If we reject 472, which we are right now, look at this. Look at these short-term reactions right now at 472. See this? If we stay under that, we're moving lower. If we get above this, we'll bounce into that 473.50 where we can look for that retest rejection. 472 is your immediate watch here this morning. All right. We got 1,800 people here. Can we start 2024 on a positive note? Cheers. Can we press the like button? Can we do it? Press that like button. If you guys could, we're about to jump into some individual stocks. We'll take a look at the Russell for you small cap boys. The Russell is actually something that I'm going to start to watch a little bit more. And why is that? Because if the market starts to get weak and you start to see some of these sort of high-flying tech or small cap names, if they start to break down a little bit, there could be some very nice watches to the downside on small cap names, which may or may not have just sort of moved higher with the overall market for not really any fundamental reasons, right? Stocks like Roku, like Square, like PayPal, all the stocks that have traditionally been very, very weak. Let's keep an eye on how that Russell starts to trade, because if that Russell starts to break down with the overall market and you start to get some of these high-flying small caps, if they start to break down some key levels, there could be some very nice shorts out there to be watching. That's sort of in my mind, sort of back of my mind, something to be sort of paying attention to. So we will jump into the Russell here. If you guys could, press that like button. Here we go. So, Russell. You guys can... Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. Look at that. I mean, so I don't look at the Russell very often, right? And I make my levels and I sort of forget about it. And, man, that's pretty nice, right? Look at that right there. That 20,000, that 2060 level that we had mapped out. I mean, look at that. previous highs, previous lows. Look at this little rejection, right? Little bear flag rejection on the Russell at 2060 there. That is some textbook stuff. Demand lows step in around 2,000, right? Demand lows step in around that 2,000 level. Not much that I would really trust until that 2,000, to be quite honest. I would probably have this mapped out as a rejection point, 2045. Let me make this a little bit closer. 2035, 2040. I'll make that a little bit smaller, actually. So something like that, right? You can see that. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to use that. So if we zoom in here a little bit, let's go to the 30-minute, actually. Let's get a little bit more time. And let's zoom in. Right, look at this. So, previous rejections, support, rejections. 2060, clear, very clear. 2060, very clear. Rejections, support, support, support. We're under it. 2045, 2045, 2060. Boom, easy. 2045, 2060. Levels to the downside. I'd say around that 2015 could have a little bit of action, right? You can see right here, 2015, 2015, 2015, 2015. So a little bit of support 2015, a little bit of support 2000. All right, so what are you looking for? You're looking for this. You're looking for this. If you want to look short side, and if you're looking long side, right, you're looking for that. You're looking for that. But you're only trading here, right? You're only short 2025. You're short 2060. Or you're long 2015, 2000. You're not long 2030 for some random reason. You're not short 2034 for some random reason, right? You're short at the 2045. You're short at the 2060. I would look for those. I would look for those. All right. Let's go. Individual stocks. Tesla. So, Tesla, obviously, you guys, I took my loss. I was incorrect on Tesla in the short term. It is what it is, right? You accept your loss, you move on. That's how trading works. Now, you're at a pretty major demand, right? You're at a pretty major demand here. If we go to the 4-hour chart, let's take a quick look at this 4-hour, right? Because this area has some very major previous highs around this area on Tesla. Anywhere between 244 and 247. It's about a 3-point range that I believe has some pretty important previous highs. Now, you're trading right in that zone right now. And you're also trading right at the 20 SMA. So let me zoom in here on the 30-minute chart and get a good look at this short-term action. So you can see right here, right? 2044 to 2047, right? You have some, actually, you know what? I want to look at this differently. I'm not going to lie. I just saw something that I want to look at it differently. I don't like what I'm seeing there. All right, so I'm adjusting this slightly. Yes, in fact, I do like what I'm about to do here. I'm adjusting this slightly. We need to watch this. Let me zoom out. This is potentially a retest rejection here on Tesla. Okay. Let me make this a little bit smaller. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. 243, boom. Okay. All right, here's what we got to watch. This is very important. I just sort of witnessed this right here. This is pissing me off here. Move that over, boom. All right. 247. 247 on Tesla. Look at this. 247, 247, 247, 247, 247. Right? A lot of 247s. Now, let's go short term here. 15-minute chart. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. 247. Maybe even up to 247.50. Yep. Right there. That's big. Previous lows, 20 SMA, 247.50, right? You're starting to see that rejection right now. Very key. And if we reject that level, that is a very potential rejection that could lead to further downside here on Tesla. 247, 247, 247, 247. Watch that short term today. That 247.50, 247 level, if that rejects, let's see if that causes some downside weakness, okay? Keep an eye on that. Demand possible around that 244 area, right? These previous highs all in here, 244, 244. So be aware of that area. But that 247 might have something to say today, right here. That 247 might have something to say here today. And I would be aware of that. If you get above, you watch for the rejections at 251.50. All right, let's move on. Yeah, what's going on with Tesla delivery numbers? Are they coming out today? They are, right? I guess we'll see what happens then. We'll adjust to the data, see what happens then. All right, Nvidia. So Nvidia, if we zoom out here, Nvidia, you guys can see, has been pretty sideways, right? Pretty sideways. Demand down below at 485 is very important, right? We can see that. And some demand here at 490, right? So 490, 485 is still our demand. Now let's jump into the 30-minute and let's zoom in here. 489, 490, still holding on Nvidia. Still holding on Nvidia, right? Still holding on Nvidia. You can see that level is still holding. So we have to be careful shorting into that 489. Did we just get Tesla delivery numbers? It's not a rip, guys. It's not. All right, think about it. It's not yet. It's got to get above structure. All right, so this is still weak under this level. If we're stay under 251.50, that is still weak on Tesla. Okay, make sure you understand that. Do not long Tesla today into this 251.50 level. If we stay under that 251.50, careful, okay? Careful. Because that could be a really clean, oh, yeah, it's that could be a really clean rejection right there. 251.50. Watch that. Okay, this is nothing. Don't get faked out here. Pay attention to the levels. That's what you watch. If you bounce today, this is actually a potential retest rejection to watch for. Now, if you get above this level, things can change, right? If you get above this level, then things can change, right? This is reacting to levels. If you get above 251.50, if you start holding above that previous rejection point and you do something like this, right, then things can change. But it's not until that. It's not until that. And that is why when we do static analysis here on the market, right, you have to still adjust to what you're seeing intraday, guys. That's very important, right? That's the key. Adjust to what the market is showing you intraday. But let's continue. 489 demand on Nvidia, very key. Next supply level above this 486 right here, 486, 485, that's your supply. Your demand is at the 490, 489. Not much on Nvidia until it breaks one of these levels, right? So what I would look for today is possibly this bounce into rejections or this hold of demand, right? Watch this channel. 486, 489. I'm sorry, 496, 489. That's your little channel on Nvidia. AMD. So unfortunately, this trade has already happened today because just about a half an hour ago, I was really liking, and you can see it right here, I was really liking this AMD 146 rejection. I know it's sort of small on your screen, but that 146 rejection on AMD was very, very nice. And it's starting to continue already, unfortunately. Now, so if you get a bounce today on AMD, I love 146's rejections right here. 146, look at this right here on the short term on AMD. Look how clean this was. Oh, shit. Is that a real candle? That can't be a real candle. No, it's not. Okay. So 146, right? See that previous low on AMD? Look at how that rejected in the pre-market today. That is sexy stuff. So if we move forward today, 146 is your level to watch. If you move into 146 and reject, I love that as a potential short. Demand below is right here, 143. So watch out for that demand below at 143, okay? 146 is a preferable short, right? Back up to that 146 would be a better short in my eyes right here. Now, if you break under 143 today and you turn it into a rejection point, then you're moving lower into this 141, okay? So 143, right in there, 143, 146. You prefer to see a bounce and rejection on AMD. All right, let's continue. Let's go to Meta, because Meta is pretty sexy today as well, right? Look at these levels on Meta. So you guys can see right here, Meta, we had that uptrend, big break of it, right? Nice flush of trend, that's really clean right there. Nice break of that uptrending move, nice flush, and nice continuation. Now, what's happening here? We can see this previous 355 level. Look at how it turned back into a rejection here. Break, retest, rejection. Very clear at that 355. So if you get a bounce at any point, 355 is a nice watch for shorts. So watch that 355 level. Demand now is coming in around that 349. 349 is your next demand below. Right there. 349 is your next demand below. So be careful on the short side. Right? This is why I was talking about earlier. I want some bounces before just sort of taking shorts here. All right? I want some bounces to take short entries. All right? I don't want to just short at these demands. So 349. Next demand below that is 347. So watch out for those two levels below. What you would like to see here is maybe a bounce in the Friday lows, 352, or a bounce back into that 355 for those re-shorts, all right? So 352, 355, watching those, and then just being cautious of that 349 demand below. And, of course, if we break demand and we reject demand, we move lower, okay? So that's Meta. Let's go to Apple, because Apple has broken some very nice levels, and Apple did something very, very clean last week, and this was the reason I actually got out of my Apple position on Friday, or was it on Thursday? No, it was on Thursday. I exited my Apple position on Thursday for a reason, and here is why, and you can see how clean this continuation was. Apple right here held, we took a long off that hold of 191, right? Right here, that 191 demand. We saw that bounce off 191, right? But look at what happened on Apple. It turned the previous level, 194.50, and that 20 SMA right here into a very clean rejection, right? Look at how clean that was. Previous lows, right? Previous highs. You have this previous low here. You bounced, and you rejected. That's a beautiful retest rejection on Apple at the 20 SMA. Very nice. Now, you can see that the flush continued lower. You are at demand lows on Apple here at 188, and you're trying to hold right now. So, what do you want to see? You want that bounce back into supply, right? You want to bounce back into that low around 191. All right, if we get a bounce back into that 191, I would definitely be eyeing that for potential rejections near that 191 level, okay? But I would not want to be short right at the demand lows, right? I don't want to be short at the demand lows. I want to wait for a little bit of a dead cat, right? Maybe into that 191. All right? Let's go Google. Google, because Google is sort of at Google's sort of at 4th and 1 here. It's 4th and inches on Google a little bit. Here's why. Because Google is sitting at a previous rejection, support. You can see right there around that 139.50. Google's sitting right at it. If Google breaks under this 139.50 and rejects, there is some pretty decent downside here in my opinion. Right? Down to this 137 level. There is nothing of support in this zone in my eyes. Between 139.50 and 137, I would not expect there to be much demand. Okay? So if Google actually gives up this 139.50 here, which for now it is holding, which it should hold, right? It's holding for now. But if we start to see this reject, if we start to see this 139.50 reject, I like that short into that 137 a lot. So that is definitely something I'm watching. Now, if you do hold this 139.50, right, you could bounce back into that 141 supply, right? And that could be the rejection you look for, back at that 141. Okay? So 139.50, 141, 137. Watch that move below that 139.50. Very interesting there. I wanted to show you a little bit of, just a little taste of this small cap possible weakness that could step up here. Right, because look at this Roku 96 rejection, and this was sexy, right? And so you can see right here, 96. Remember that 96 Roku level? Right? Look at how clean that rejected again. And look at that bear flag that's starting to form there. If Roku and small caps stay weak, there could be some downside here. Because that is a very key. And I mean, like 4-hour key rejection that just stepped in. Look at this. 4-hour chart on Roku. 96, 96. Look at that rejection that just stepped in at 96 on Roku. So if this small cap market starts to take a little bit of a pullback, right, this could be a really interesting watch on Roku, down to maybe 87, back down to this 85. There could be some nice weakness on some of these small caps to be watching out for, right? Another example here is a stock like Square, right? Square has ripped, I don't know, 104% since October, okay? That's pretty big, and that is right into a 4-hour supply here, right? Look at this. Square, 4-hour supply at 80. We just ripped 100% into that level, okay? And so logically, at least in my opinion, right, if we start to see some small cap weakness out there, a stock like Square, right, and you can see I have my alert set. If a stock like Square that just ripped 100% starts to weaken with small caps, right, if it breaks under maybe that 75.50, if we start to get some of these retest rejections going on, right, there could be some interesting downside here. So just something to sort of, I'm not taking action on that idea yet because small caps have been strong. I'm not going to just flip short on them right away, but just some things to monitor, right? You've gotten some really big moves. A stock like Carvana just ripped 1,000% pretty much, right? I think people said it was up 1,000% in 2023 or something like that, right? There's going to be some of those, you know, some of that weakness potential. I'm not saying it's ready yet, right? But I would sort of keep your eyes open on that thought. I would sort of keep that sort of that thought process a little bit open. Right? I'm not saying they're going to go back to where they were, but is there pullback opportunities? Is there potential weakness? Yes, it's very potential. Something I would be watching. That Roku 96 though, that's really interesting. Okay? All right. It's 8:50. It's almost time for me to go. Let's take a quick look at the futures. We can see that our demand level has held on the futures. So we are in line, right? Our analysis is in line here. We can see our Nasdaq demand that we talked about 20 minutes ago, right, is holding for now. 16,815. This is setting up. I love when I do that. I love it. This is setting up for that retest rejection potential that I would be keeping your eyes out for. ES, yeah, 47.86. If the ES cannot get over, oh man, that could be really nice. Even on the future side right here. Look at this. That could be really nice. Happening right now. 47.86, break, retest, big pop into the rejection. Seller stepping in. Oh man, keep an eye out on that. 47.86. Did we get an ad? There you go. There you go, Mario. PayPal? Yeah, let's take a look at PayPal real quick. So PayPal has sort of ran here. PayPal has ran into supply, right, into the 200 SMA. Right, look at that. PayPal has ran right into the 200 SMA and previous rejection points. If we draw something like this, all right, if we draw something like this, where have you seen something like that, right? First thing that pops to my head is Meta. First thing that pops in my head is Meta, right? Meta, right? See that Meta? See that trend? Looks sort of similar to this, right? So PayPal, right? If you start seeing something like this, right? You start seeing some of these levels turn into rejections. It could be something to watch. All right? It could be something to watch. All right, guys. That's all I got for you today. We'll do a little pep talk here. 2024. Let's make it a good year. All right? It's your fresh slate. Today's your first day of your fresh slate. Work on those. If you guys understand technicals, if you're here, you're sort of going along, you're understanding the technicals, maybe it's just a little bit of psychology, a little bit of emotional control. It's taking losses, it's accepting losses, it's keeping losses manageable, right? Those little things, focus on them. Find what you messed up in 2023. Focus on it this year. You got yourself a fresh slate. Let's make it a good year. Road to 100K. All right? Road to 100K. I need your help. I need that plaque this year, man. We got to catch up to Carmine. We got to catch up. So if you guys could, press that like button. Help me grow the channel. Subscribe. If you guys are not subscribed, tell your moms, tell your sisters, tell your brothers, tell your cousins, tell your friends, everyone you know. If you guys could, I appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content, enjoy the channel. Some interesting things that I'm going to be starting this year. Reviews with the group that I plan on potentially releasing here on YouTube as well. So some things that I'm thinking about doing. I hope you guys do enjoy it. Press that like button before you head out. Telling your mom right now. Thank you, Jay. All right, guys. Thank you again. Have a fantastic day. You want to see that intro one more time? Let's throw that intro in one more time. All right. I'll see you later. Peace.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
40, 50 feet. Why don't you turn around and let them get a view from there and
Flight 527 ready for departure.